Zach and Tori Roloff emotionally recall miscarriage they suffered before welcoming Josiah. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. The pregnancy loss they suffered ahead of welcoming their third child. Tori and Zach Roloff are opening up about the miscarriage they suffered before welcoming their third child. On Thursday's episode of the Raising Heights podcast, the former Little People, Big World stars open up about the loss of their child in 2021. Tori explains that she and Zach got pregnant very quickly after deciding that they wanted to try for their third child. The pair were already parents to Jackson, 7, and Lilia, 4. The heartbreaking news came when the pair went in for their 8-week checkup, after Tori says she was experiencing an easy first trimester. It was not on my radar that something was wrong, she says. I remember thinking, this pregnancy is really easy, this is going really well. At the checkup, Tori says that the ultrasound tech knew that something was wrong, and although she wasn't supposed to, informed Tori that the baby didn't have a heartbeat. Immediately started crying. Tori says, "This isn't happening. This isn't real. There is no way this is happening to me." After having 2 healthy pregnancies, Tori revealed that her perspective about the place where she always knew joy changed. I think that it was a huge mind shift for me because going to those appointments, it was always such a fun experience, she says. It was always so much joy. I was so excited. I get to see my baby. I get to get all these really cute pictures. I get to hear the heartbeat. I get to do all these really fun things. And it was on that day that everything shifted about what that clinic is and what that clinic can be. Tori says that the doctors told her that she had the choice of letting the pregnancy pass naturally or having an assisted procedure known as a D&C, dilatation and curettage, which is a procedure to remove tissue from inside your uterus. Healthcare professionals perform dilation and curettage to diagnose and treat certain uterine conditions, such as heavy bleeding, or to clear the uterine lining after a miscarriage or abortion, according to the Mayo Clinic. I can remember just being so mad at my body after that, she shared, getting emotional. I had what was called a missed miscarriage, which means that my body didn't realize that the baby passed on. So I was left with a decision with how do you want to move forward, cause it had been 3 weeks, because that's where the growth had stopped. She adds, I was so mad at my body. Why do I have to make the decision of how to move forward? That's why I was so mad at my body, because this is not something that I want to be making the decision on right now. Tori went through with the D&C. Another layer of the miscarriage was the fact that she and Zach had shared her pregnancy with their families, kids, and Little People, Big World crew, and had to make the heartbreaking reveal to them. 3 kids, you get kind of excited, you announce it a little earlier, Zach says. You get a little bit more excited and you jump ahead a little bit. That's what I remember telling the TV people, the family. After making the initial reveal of their third pregnancy on the show at the time, the couple had to backtrack on camera and relive the heartbreak. Sharing things on camera that's sensitive in the form of reality television is tough because it has to fit into their storyline or their structured episode, Zach says. They can't show it 20 minutes, they can't share a 20-minute explanation, which we feel is necessary to understand your point of view. That's what makes it tough. They won't do it the justice that it needed, Tori adds. This is our baby. To me, when you get pregnant, that's a baby. So when we lost that baby, that was like we just lost a part of our family. The news of the miscarriage also came the same week Tori was going to share with social media. Instead, Tori shared the news with her followers that she and Zach lost their baby and got an overwhelming sense of support. A lot of people came out of the woodwork. In my personal life, old coworkers, so many people that come out with their stories that you don't feel alone, she says. I was so grateful that I shared that information just because then I felt comfort from the women who had gone through the same thing that I went through. We didn't tell people that I was pregnant with Josiah until I was halfway done, Tori says about waiting to go public with the news. Because I didn't want to go through that again and we have to backtrack. However, in addition to sharing to make sure women didn't feel alone, Tori says that she couldn't imagine their life without Josiah. It's hard to picture out life now without Josiah, she says. Like that's very difficult for me to picture where we would be without him and how much I'm obsessed and I love him. He would not be here if it wasn't for everything that happened. One day, we'll get to meet our baby. The best Little People, Big World seasons, ranked. The reality TV series Little People, Big World follows the day-to-day lives of the Roloffs, Matthew and Amy Roloff, both of whom have dwarfism, and their 4 children, Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob. Zach also lives with dwarfism. Little People, Big World, which premiered on TLC on March 4, 2006, was originally slated to end after 6 seasons, but was brought back in 2013 and continued with many new seasons. The family lives on a 36-acre farm in a suburb of Portland, OR. Season 1 introduces the world to the Roloff family and farm, while later seasons follow the stories of the individual family members as they grow up and start families of their own. Little People, Big World blends relatable family dynamics with extraordinary circumstances. The Roloffs' ability to candidly share their experiences, whether they are tackling everyday tasks or facing life-changing events, has endeared them to audiences everywhere. Whether you're a longtime fan looking to remain or a newcomer curious about the show's most compelling chapters, this guide takes a detailed look at the seasons that define the Roloff family's journey. Zach and Tori Roloff say they had 50-50 chance of having kids with dwarfism. It's in God's hands. Tori and Zach Roloff are getting candid about their decision to have kids, despite the chance that their children could have dwarfism. It's very loud, and it's very hard to ignore when people question our decision to have children when we knew that they could have dwarfism, Tori shared on the podcast, and we knew pretty strongly that the children could have it. However, the couple said they decided to take the chance because the odds of their children being born with dwarfism was 50-50. The Little People, Big World star believed they just hit a dwarfism cluster somewhere in the cycle, he said. And if we have 3 more kids, they could all be average height, Zach added, while also noting that the couple already made the decision to stop having kids. Tori chimed in, "We have ended it, we'll never know." Tori also explained in the podcast that the chances of their children having the same kind of dwarfism as Zach's dad Matt Roloff, dystrophic dysplasia, was the same as any average couple's chances since it was a recessive gene. The pair also discussed what people have said about them passing along the dwarfism genes to another generation. Tori described that mindset as sticky and very dangerous because they had no say on what genes were passed on, and it was all a matter of fate. People are often looking for this perfect child and want to make sure that their kid doesn't have X, I, and Z problems, but that at the end of the day, it's in God's hands, they said. The couple, who wed in July 2015, welcomed son Jackson in 2017, daughter Layla in 2019, and their third child Josiah in 2022. Over the past few years, the pair have been candid about their life and raising their 3 children both on and off screen. During a 2021 Instagram story, Q&A, Tori, who does not have achondroplasia, responded to a question asking if she wished she could raise a child who doesn't have dwarfism. Here's where the family from Little People, Big World are today. In 2006, TLC launched a reality show that was unlike any other on television. That show was Little People, Big World, and it has become one of the most immensely popular reality television series on TV today. Little People, Big World chronicles the lives of the 6-member Roloff family. When the show began, the Roloffs lived on a farm near Portland, Oregon. The episodes mostly focused on the parents, Matt and Amy, and one of their kids, Zach, who has dwarfism, in the early days. As the show went on for nearly 2 decades more, the kids got married, Matt and Amy got divorced, and dynamics and storylines changed. Fans continued to tune in, even with most of the kids not returning to the series. But with the cast of Evil, rumors are that season 25 will be the last for Little People, Big World. If that is the case, the show and the Roloff family had an incredible run. Updated June 2024. At the end of 2023, the Roloff family finished filming season 25 of Little People, Big World. When that happened, their contract had also run out. That meant that the family no longer had to abide by an NDA, and Matt Roloff took the opportunity to say that if season 25 was the final season, it would be fine by him. The rest of the family was done with filming. Zach Roloff and his family were not returning to the show, and because of that, it appears that Little People, Big World may have run its course. Having spent the last nearly 2 decades sharing their lives with countless people across the world, Zach very much incorporated his fans in the major milestones of his life. Be it meeting his now-wife Tori Roloff, getting married, or welcoming their 3 kids into the world, it is Zach who makes the majority of his income from the show. He is the only Roloff kid who is still associated with the show since none of his siblings chose to participate. But that also came to an end after season 25, when Zach announced he and Tori would not be returning to the show. Zach spends a good deal of time on the Little People, Big World farm since his father, Matt, still lives on the farm. However, he does not merely go there to visit his family, but also helps them out with odd jobs around the land. During pumpkin season, he gives private tours of the farm, allowing fans to get a glimpse of a behind-the-scenes look of the Roloff farm. He also shares engaging tales about well-known landmarks around the land. Zach has also carved a niche for himself in the Oregon soccer community, having spent many years coaching youth soccer teams in his area. It might interest you to know that he played in the first Copa America Dwarf World Cup and also in the World Dwarf Games in 2013. Born with dystrophic dysplasia, Matt had to undergo as many as 15 operations as a child to battle this degenerative dwarfism. Following a successful career in Silicon Valley, Matt moved to Portland, Oregon with his then pregnant wife, Amy. Although the couple eventually split, they continued to co-parent their 4 children and run Roloff Farms. Matt has also made a mark as a motivational speaker, author, and activist. Matt and Karen are content spending quality time with their children and grandchildren. If you check out their Instagram profiles, you will find it full of pictures of their grandkids and their daily life updates. They post each other's photos on Instagram quite often, accompanied by sweet and mushy captions that show how much they are in love. Amy suffers from a type of dwarfism known as achondroplasia, though she has not had too many complications. Besides being engaged in acting, coaching, parenting her 4 kids, and teaching, she also runs a philanthropic organization, the Amy Roloff Charity Foundation. The foundation works for the needs of kids, at-risk youths, and disabled individuals. Following her divorce with Matt, Amy and her children settled down in their own lives. Amy has wholeheartedly embraced her newfound entity as an empty nester, with great enthusiasm to explore new things in life. Amy Roloff and Chris Merrick, who are part of the Little People, Big World series until it is announced it is canceled, are still going strong since their 2021 wedding. Although the reality stars had to postpone their wedding, they seem to be on cloud 9, which is evident by the way Roloff frequently posts about her husband on